Lesson 18, Challenges and Risks, Part 3. In this lesson, we'll complete our studies of challenges and risks by looking at an important area: culture, collaboration, and cooperation. A SIAM model needs to have a culture that encourages all the organizations involved to work together, or it won't be effective. Every organization that is part of a SIAM model will have a different corporate culture. Corporate culture is defined as the beliefs and behaviors that determine how a company's employees and management interact and handle outside business transactions. Often, corporate culture is implied, not expressly defined, and develops organically over time from the cumulative traits of the people the company hires. Each organization in the SIAM model needs to be a good cultural fit. If one organization has a closed culture and won't interact with stakeholders, it will be challenging to integrate them into the SIAM model. This challenge affects all the parties in the SIAM model. The customer organization needs to walk the walk and lead by example, and the service integrator needs to reinforce this. We mentioned earlier that the governance boards that involve senior executives play a role in defining culture and behaviors. Culture needs to be considered during plan and build. It's important to select service providers who are a good cultural fit and consider the culture of any existing service providers that will be integrated into the SIAM model. Any cultural issues will begin in implement, then have an impact on the run and improve stage of the SIAM roadmap. We're going to look at risks associated with culture, followed by their mitigation. Click on Risks and Mitigation to learn more. Risks associated with a poor cultural fit include service providers not interacting with each other or with end-to-end processes and procedures, service targets not being met, and SIAM benefits not being delivered, the service integrator being unable to fulfill its role due to a poor working relationship with service providers. Frustration can grow in all of the SIAM layers if any of the organizations involved are seen to be saying one thing and doing another. Paying attention to culture and behavior is an important part of mitigating the impact of a cultural mismatch. New behaviors need to be nurtured. They don't just happen because a memo has been issued. The customer and service integrator need to demonstrate correct behaviors and continually encourage and reinforce a culture of collaboration. Selecting the right service providers will also help if they are a good cultural fit from the beginning. Working collaboratively can be a big change for a service provider, but the more innovative companies are realizing that this is now a requirement. Culture and collaboration is an important topic, so it's worth spending some time studying it in more detail. There are some concepts in a SIAM environment that don't exist in the traditional outsourcing world. Some key cultural differences are adopting a fix-first, argue-later approach. When an issue affects service, the service providers need to work together, not try and assign blame or bounce the incident to someone else. The service integrator is the voice of the customer, and this must be accepted by all service providers. The SIAM environment needs to focus on business outcomes and business value, not on the individual service provider's contracts and goals. There are some tools and techniques that can be used in the SIAM model to support a culture of collaboration and communication. We're going to study the use of a code of conduct, a collaboration agreement, operational level agreements. A code of conduct is a high-level agreement that explains how all parties in the SIAM ecosystem will work together. Sometimes referred to as the rules of the club, it allows each organization in the SIAM model to hold the others to account if they behave unacceptably. This isn't a contractual agreement. It should be simple, often just a single page, and helps to reinforce the desired culture and behaviors. A code of conduct should include partnership aims. These outline the expected business outcomes and what the SIAM ecosystem is meant to deliver. For example, the SIAM model might be put in place to give better value for money and to allow faster response to changing business requirements. It will also include the partnership ethos, which outlines the values each party needs to uphold. These could include embracing change, putting the customer first, and being respectful to others. Have you seen a document like this before in your career? Collaboration agreements are also used in SIAM environments. These allow a culture of collaboration to develop without continual reference to contracts. In many collaborative cultures, the point where someone feels the need to get out the contract and point to clause 2.3.1 is seen as a breakdown in the relationship. By the time the situation has reached this point, collaboration has ended and everyone is focused on their own goals. Collaboration agreements define how the service integrator and the service providers will work together. They are not usually contractual. Instead, they are a tool to help everyone collaborate. You can see some examples of the content of a collaboration agreement here. Required behaviors help everyone to work together and can be used to help new service providers integrate into the model. Mechanisms to support collaboration can include the process forums, working together to resolve issues, and supporting the service integrator during review and assurance activities. Any tools to support collaboration can also be defined here. One area in the collaboration agreement is non-financial or non-contractual remedies. In a normal outsourced service, the service provider will pay a fine or penalty if they fail to meet their targets. To help drive innovation and improvement in the SIAM model, there is an option to agree a non-financial remedy. For example, the service provider might agree to carry out some corrective action instead. The service integrator and the customer organization will need to approve these. Finally, operational level agreements, or OLAs, can be used to support a collaborative culture in a SIAM ecosystem. OLA is a common term, but the definition we are studying here is specific to the SIAM environment. An OLA is an agreement between the service integrator and a service provider that breaks service targets down into more detail to support end-to-end performance management. OLAs help to define each service in the SIAM model and provide control and visibility. For example, the contractual target for resolution of a Priority 1 incident might be 4 hours. If 5 different service providers are involved in the delivery of the service where the incident has happened, they need to work together to meet this target. So, an example of an OLA target might be that each service provider will accept the incident or pass it on to another service provider within 30 minutes. We'll add a full table of contents for an OLA to your Challenges and Risks study guide. Key sections will include service description, service hours, service provider, service consumers, agreed activities for all parties, service targets. Click on the Next button to access your end-of-lesson quiz when you're ready. When you finish the quiz, click the Next button again to move on. That completes our studies of the SIAM challenges and risks. Think about the corporate culture in your own organization or other organizations you've worked with. Would it support collaboration? Coming up next, we'll look at other management practices, frameworks, and standards that are relevant in a SIAM environment.